chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
And far. How are you? It's good to have you back with me this afternoon. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, welcome, one and all, to another episode of Sabrina Speaks. Voices of the Islands, conversations for the world, the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. I am Sabrina, and I'm broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands. Yes, Monday to Friday from 5 until 7. We want to thank all of our followers and subscribers, and please don't forget to click that like, share, and or subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Yes, it's been good. I've had a productive day. OMG, what a day it has been. But I'm thankful, and I hope that each and every one of you are as well. Tonight, I am going to take my time based on what information I can find about headlines. Yes, some headlines that are making a little bit of stir. But yeah, what I'm going to be talking about and taking a clear factual look at a virus that has been making headlines around the world, and one that is actually raising questions about its seriousness, and according to official sources, doesn't at this time deserve panic. Okay, I've been hearing it, I've been feeling it, and all the media sources and all that sort of stuff. You're seeing viral videos of persons who are stuck on this cruise ship and so forth. According to official sources, doesn't deserve panic. Okay, it's called Hantavirus, and what it is, it's a rare rodent-borne illness that is now under global watch after a small cruise ship outbreak off Cape Verde. Now, as summer travel begins, many are wondering what this means for them. Amongst other things, where we're having major airlines that are either closing down or, route disruptions, cancellations, and all of that sort of stuff based on heightened cost of fuel because of all of the geopolitical tensions that are around the world. Now you got this that is on your doorstep as well. So we're going to talk about it. I'm going to be as calm as possible. I'm going to be confident because I trust the sources in which the information has been derived. And it's just a matter of sharing information with you, with the facts that I have found. My aim is to unpack what this virus is, how it spreads, what health agencies are actually saying, and why awareness, not alarm, is the right approach at this time. Now, let me make it clear. This is not medical advice. I'm not speaking for any government or health official either. It's mainly and clearly about clarity, education, and just getting the information out there. I feel the kind of conversation that helps all of us travel smart, and definitely what's top priority for me, remaining informed. So, again, welcome, welcome, one and all. I'm Sabrina, and it's good to have you with me here for another Sabrina Speaks. And we are going to tackle the topic this evening on hantavirus, talking about the facts, context, and what the public should know moving forward as we approach the upcoming summer holiday season. Please remember that the content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, and or participants, is intended solely for general informational and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional legal, medical, or financial advice. So I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for your specific concerns. Bridge Media Limited and all its affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. Feel free to join me live, joining me live in the conversation. Feel free to also WhatsApp me on 345-936-8255. I enjoy interacting with you. I enjoy hearing from you. And yes, it does make a world of a difference. Before going into the substantive topic of this evening, there are some advisories I have to give you, public notices as well, gentle reminders, because we are still celebrating Heritage Month, and I got the new list of calendar for all of the happenings going straight down to the 28th. Yes, another big holiday is coming up as well in between that time. But before, let's see what's happening with our weather. Let's thanks to our friends over there, Cayman Islands National Weather Service. They're on the money today. Let's get started. Based on this synopsis, a ridge of high pressure dominates the Caribbean with drier and more stable atmosphere. Now, the satellite imagery shows patches of low clouds around Grand Cayman. The forecast for tonight is calling for mostly clear skies with a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s and winds will be east to southeast 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. The forecast for tomorrow is calling for mainly fair skies with a low chance of morning showers. Temperatures will rise to the low 90s with a heat index of near 99. Winds will be east to southeast, 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. There will be a low tide this evening at 6:23. Tomorrow, a high tide at 2:05 a.m. and another low tide at 8:48 a.m. Sun will set this evening at 6:48 and sun will rise tomorrow morning at 5:54 a.m. The outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through the next few days. There you have it. That's your weather forecast for this evening and into tomorrow as we make our plans. And oh my gosh, yes, it's been hot. It's been hot. So for all of you who have your pets, please make sure that they got enough water and all this sort of stuff. And for you who are out there working in the elements, please, 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 please hydrate yourself. I'm not talking sweet, sugary drinks now or, dosing up on high caffeinated beverages because you know what that does to you, right? It can dehydrate you. I'm talking about nice water. Yes, nice water. You got all of these different enhancers now that you can add electrolytes and all that good stuff. Yeah. But make sure you keep yourself hydrated, all of you guys working out there in the elements, and take time to make sure you get to cool off if you're out in the direct sunlight. Yeah, we don't want any mishaps. Let's see what's making the news for this evening right here on the Sabrina Speaks platform before acknowledging you guys who are sharing the links. I see sharing the links, and we appreciate you letting your friends and neighbors know that we're live. We appreciate you a whole heap. Yep. Let's see the news for this evening. Today marks 1 year since the National Coalition for Cayman Government was sworn in on May 6, 2025. Over the past year, the administration has emphasized public service, good governance, and decision-making guided by 7 stated values, including integrity, innovation, and responsibility. Premier Andre Ebanks says that these principles continue to shape government's approach to transparency and accountability. Members of the coalition are expected to release a detailed report on May 20th, outlining their first year in office and reflecting on their initial cabinet meeting held 1 year ago. The Ministry of Department of Tourism hosted the 2026 Tourism Ambassador Speak Off today at Hotel Indigo Grand Cayman, bringing together members of government and industry partners. The 4 finalists showcased impressive knowledge and passion for Cayman's tourism future, but it was Ariana Chin of Cayman Prep and High School who earned the title of the 2026 Tourism Ambassador, praised for her confidence and awareness of the industry. She will now represent the Cayman Islands at the Regional Youth Congress and take part in a 2-week hospitality and innovation immersion in Switzerland. Official also thanks outgoing Ambassador Aliani Morris Seymour for her outstanding service. Congratulations to both of you as you continue to drive forward and continue to make waves. Yes, yes, yes. Also, local news today, we see where police in Cayman Brac have recovered multiple packages of suspected drugs following an operation on Monday, 4th of May. Officers attended a residence off West End Road East around 2:30 p.m. and conducted a search under the Misuse and Drugs Act, seizing quantities of suspected cocaine and ganja. 2 men at the location were arrested on suspicion of possession and consumption. Further inquiries led to the discovery of additional packages of suspected ganja at a separate site. Investigations are ongoing, and we will let you more as this story continues to develop and unfold. And just for full disclosure, that's just a stock image. Has nothing to do with the story. It's a stock image. Other local news making headlines today: airlines disruption in the United States are continuing to affect carriers that serve the Cayman Islands. Delta Airlines has canceled hundreds of flights since the start of May due to ongoing operational pressures, including staffing and scheduling challenges at several major hubs. Meanwhile, Spirit Airlines is moving through an orderly shutdown of its operations after failing to secure additional financial support following its earlier withdrawal from the Cayman route in April. Now, travelers are being advised to monitor schedules closely as the wider U.S. aviation system remains under strain. We know that the summer holidays are coming up and a lot of you are booking or have booked in advance. I can only implore you to just really pay close attention to this and always check your airlines for the latest developments. We turn our attention over to what news is making regional headlines for this evening right here on Sabrina Speaks. Focusing our attention to Bermuda. Bermuda's Minister of Economy and Labor has announced several updates to the 2025 work permit policy aimed at improving clarity, compliance, and fairness in the recruitment process. Changes include strengthened penalties for breaches, expanded English language proficiency requirements, updated rules on job changes after 2 years of employment, and new guidelines for promotions and photo submissions. Now, the restricted and closed job categories will now remain in effect through February of 2027. The minister says the policy will continue to evolve, with the next set of amendments expected in October of 2026. Turning our attention this evening over to Jamaica. The Jamaica Gleaner is reporting that Jamaican drug lord Christopher Dudus Coke is now expected to be released from the U.S. prison in just under 2 years after authorities reduced his remaining sentence by another year. The update comes as Pastor Merrick Al Miller, a longtime friend of the Coke family, says he has been informed that Coke has taken part in religious and rehabilitation programs while incarcerated. Now, Coke has been serving his sentence in the United States since 2012, since his 2012 convictions on racketeering and drug trafficking charges. As we put our attention this evening, we now go to the United Kingdom, because the Princess of Wales is set to travel to Italy in what will be her first overseas royal engagement since undergoing cancer treatments. Kensington Palace said that the visit marks an important step in her gradual return to public duties, following several months of recovery. While full details of the itinerary will have not yet been released, official notes that the trip reflects her improving health and the continued support of the royal family as she resumed selected engagement. In international news, as we wind down just before the market closing reports for this evening, the World Health Organization says the number of confirmed hantavirus cases linked to the suspected outbreak on board the cruise ship MV Hondius has now risen to 5. Health officials continue to monitor passengers and crew as investigations into the source of the exposure may move forward. Hantavirus remains rare, but authorities are urging caution and early medical attention for anyone experiencing symptoms following recent travel connected to the vessel. As we wrap up here this evening on the news, we turn our attention now to the stock market closing report for today, May 6th. Wall Street rallied to fresh record highs today as investors responded to reports of progress towards a possible U.S.-Iran agreement. The S&P 500 rose by 1.46% to close at 7,365.12, while the Nasdaq gained 2.02% to finish at 25,838.94. Both setting new records. The Dow Jones climbed 612 points, or 1.24%, closing at 49,910.59. Oil prices tumbled sharply on hopes of easing tensions, with WTI crude down by 7.03% to $95.08, and Brent crude falling 7.83% to $101.27. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes our news and business market updates for this evening. We'll be right back after this message from ESO because it's important, and I hope you all participate. Be with you after these messages.
The Economics and Statistics Office, ESO, is currently conducting the annual business surveys until June 12. The surveys collect information to answer questions like, how did the economy perform in 2025? In 2025, how much did foreign companies invest in the Cayman Islands? The surveys include all relevant entities that produce goods and services in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the ESO. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business. For assistance in filling out the forms or for more information, visit eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600.
Welcome back. I hope that you all, if you are actually selected for this, that you will cooperate and share factual information with all that's happening here. And we collect the information to help steer us and make key decisions on the future of our islands. Yeah, it's very important, for people who don't really understand what that is, what it means to everyday life and everything combined. And I hope that people will actually appreciate the work that goes into this, the importance of collecting factual data as well, because that definitely helps chart the course moving forward for all of us. Yes, yes, yes. Now let's just take a look at some community announcements and gentle reminders here, because here we go. We got the Heritage Month calendar of events that takes us straight through. And what I want to remind you is that there is going to be this Kim and Brack Family Fun Day at Agricultural Grounds. We shared that yesterday with you, but in case you are making plans, there's a whole schedule of events that actually is filling it. You can go on to the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, Heritage website. You can download it from there as well. Afterwards, I can also attach it to the show link below. But you're seeing all of the events that is happening on Saturday. There's a gospel concert also over there in the Brack at the Aston Ruddy Civic Center. Sunday, the church service is going to be Stake Bay. Thursday the 14th, Bacchanal. Yes, it's going to be happening there. That's going to be Bacchanal Clutch a Day. That is Kim and Brack Heritage House from 3:30. Saturday is the Human Library at Georgetown Public Library. And there's more here. Let me just share this with you. And then the 16th, there's the Children Tea Party at Mount Moritz Resort. That's here on Grand Cayman. Also happening is the Bracknell Road March in Cayman Brac. So that's going to happen on the 16th in the Brac. And Culturama at the Harkwell Theatre, also happening here in Grand Cayman on the 16th. At 6 and 7. And then Monday, the public holiday, of course, is Discovery Day public holiday that's happening here. So lots are happening between all the districts. Yes, Kimmerak, that's happening, and church service. So it looks as though they're just going forward. We're heading east, definitely, in our celebrations. We want you all to come out to all of these events in your colors, wear your shirts with pride, and come out and support these events as we celebrate, our heritage together. And we continue to celebrate who we are as Caymanians. Yes, yes, yes. Why not? So we want to make sure that we show up in our numbers and be proud by displaying your color and your shirts. Yep. Also, I want to remind everyone of this that's taking place. This is a free event for older persons. Yes, this is a calendar event that kicks off from the Tuesday the 12th, where Love of Picture Books, presented by Virginia Foster, a retired educator, librarian, and CNCF Foundation officer, featuring titles from her personal collection. Now, you can choose whether or not you read alone or with volunteers, exploring different titles depending on one's interest. But the key is to just show up, and it's for my duty to let you know where these events and when these events are happening. So at the East End Intergenerational Cottage on Tuesday, the 12th of May, and these all start from 10 in the morning until noon. And yes, light refreshments will be provided. And at the West Bay National Museum Collection Building, that will take place on the 21st of May, that's Thursday. And the Intergenerational Hub will be on Wednesday, the 27th of May. So just all of you, just a gentle reminder there with what's going on. And we want to make sure that you go out and you support this. That is the age for 65 and older, okay? So all of our seniors, you need to know what's happening, and you go out and you be a part of this. Yes. I got another image here that I'm downloading, so bear with me, because we got some road closures. We also got Water Authority reminding us of some disruption in service as well. So I want you to be aware of this, because people in East End and off Bimini, yep, I'm talking to you. People are going to be inconvenienced for a bit for some road works. But let's just take a look at what's happening with the road closure here on Main Street. That's in town, okay? Main Street in Georgetown will temporarily be closed with only one lane and pedestrian crossing closure. So Main Street, Georgetown will have a temporary one lane closure and pedestrian crossing closure from Monday the 19th to Friday the 23rd of May. And during the schedule because of this improvement works that is continuing to go on in Central Town. Now, detour signs, cones, and safety fencing will guide both drivers and pedestrians through the area. And businesses remain accessible where safe. Now, motorists are, though, encouraged to allow extra travel time and stay alert while passing through the work zone. So here's an aerial look at Central Town. If you can get your bearings there, that is in the front of Comart, Old Butterfield. Yeah, that is right there in the center of town. So yeah, these are the changes. And here is that's it in Word. Yeah, in text. Yeah. So just in case, this is the center of town, and what we're seeing here in red and all of this. So in other words, just drive. If you have to commute into that area, just be very careful, okay? And that is from the 19th to the 23rd. So those poor people in town, all of those businesses, again, are going to be temporarily disrupted from this. So yeah, let me remove this. Woohoo. And also, Water Authority advises customers of Bimini Drive. Yeah. Customers in Georgetown East. Do you want to remind them that an emergency leak assessment will take place? That's tomorrow, May the 7th on Bimini Drive. And residents should expect intermittent water service during 10 a.m. in the morning, and that goes through 2:30 p.m. while crews investigate a low pressure issue that has been detected in the area. Now, Authority thanks customers for their patience and apologies for any inconvenience. So this is Bimini. Yeah, they're assessing a leak because of low pressure that has been reported in that area. That's Bimini Drive. And also East End, but this one is planned, so you all need to be aware of this. Did I remove that one? There is a scheduled waterworks that is going to be going on there in East End because this was planned. And that is for Friday the 8th along High Rock Road. And crews will be connecting a new subdivision to the water network. And customers in the area should expect service to be temporarily interrupted between 9 a.m. and 12 noon as of Friday. That's Friday the 8th. East End people, residents, Waterworks, and Water Authority thanks you as well for your patience and understanding and apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause. So lots going on, from interruptions in service. We don't want you all panicking. Oh my God, did I pay the water bill? What's going on? Why did they disrupt my service? Oh, today was my laundry day. All of that sort of stuff. We know how it happens. These are all works that are planned. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Happy birthday to all of you guys who are celebrating birthdays, wedding anniversaries, or just celebrating life. From all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks platform, we are so happy to share and celebrate that with you. And also, we want to also acknowledge those persons who are mourning the loss of a loved one. We just want you to know that our thoughts and prayers are with you as you navigate this difficult and challenging times as well. Yes, Connie's in the house. Good evening, Auntie Sabrina. A kinder, gentler world. It's good. Yep. I see ya. North Carolina love. Marshall Duarte is here. Good evening to you as well. Andrew, how are you? Blessed Wednesday to you as well, my dear. Aliano is in the house. Good evening, Sabrina, and all in Cayman by extension. Thank you, Aliano. It's good to have you joining us, hoping you're continuing to mend as well. We hear what's going on, and as we continue to move in this space, it's good to be back with you here on this Wednesday afternoon with thought-provoking, yes, conversation and keeping you on your toes as well. Damian Henry is in the house. Good evening, all. Small disciplines repeated with consistency become the quiet architect behind extraordinary achievement. Greatness rarely comes from dramatic bursts of effort, but from small, steady actions done reliably. That compounds into something powerful over time. Thank you, Damien, so much. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And we know that Connie Bonnie she's just all over the place this evening. But one thing with her, she's loyal. Oh, yeah, she's loyal. Oops, what did I do there? Yes. She shared with us a beautiful flower this evening as well. Con is becoming a real content creator. This is an orchid. I was called in Desert Rose Orchid the other day, and Orchid's Desert Rose, poor me. Poor me. Yeah, there she is. She's sharing with us this beautiful orchid as her flower of the day. Hope you got some juice in that phone, girl. Thank you so much for sharing. Such lovely. You can use these as screensavers. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm getting a good collection of them here today. Over the past couple of days, to be honest. Yeah. Over you guys, between you and Donnie is definitely sharing them with us. So these would make nice little pics if you were into all of these good things. These are only things that will last for me. But thank you for my love, for your dedication, and definitely for keeping us in the loop. And for those of you just joining us, 345-936-8255 is the number to call. Join in the conversation. We're going to be definitely speaking about, this virus that has taken over the headlines And I must say that some people are a little concerned. You got those who are like, oh, it's just another scare. Oh, they want to hit the cruise industry now and all this sort of stuff. Look, I'm just here to deliver it because based on reports, people have died. And, at the end of the day, we want to look at it, what has been making international headlines and stirring up some understandable anxiety after going through what we went through. And there are some similarities to this one as well, going back to COVID, especially as we head into the busy summer travel and the season. And what I'm talking about, in case you missed it and you just thought it was just an isolated ship, I'm speaking about the Hantavirus. It is serious for those who are exposed. It is something that we should be aware of, and it's also rare. That's why, some people are like, I'm on the fence. This is another honky-dory story. But what I'm here to say, based on what is being released from official sources, it's not the next COVID-19 is what they're saying, okay? But the headlines, especially the recent outbreak on this cruise ship that is off Cape Verde, they have brought back memories of 2020. Bottom line, it is what it is. And I can understand the anxiety. I can understand all of that. With the power of social media right now, all the news, people are actually on this one. And persons who are on the ship, or there's one particular gentleman for sure that I've seen his video that he's been there on the ship. And people are asking the questions. Some are a bit worried, and many simply say they just want the facts in plain language. Just tell us what's up. Life goes on. And not looking for another lockdown. Hell no, is what I got some very vocal today as I was out and about. Lockdown who? That one was deep. I mean, that came from the toe. Lockdown who? So today, at least, we're going to just try. I'm going to do my best to break it down for you, what it is, how it spreads, why it's in the news. And we got some news, again, just while we were live. But I read that. I put that a part of the news segment, just in case you missed it. I'll repeat it again. And what global health agencies are saying. And, at the end of the day, might as well as be informed about it. What practical steps ordinary people like you and I can take to stay informed and definitely be prepared, and without fear, just facts. So I'm going to break it down. This is, again, let me repeat, not medical advice. I'm not speaking for the government or any health authority. This is public education, clear, factual, grounded in verified sources that I have sourced from also World Health Organization and the CDC, and reputable news outlets as well, to just compact this into our discussion period here on the Sabrina Speaks show. But you're welcome to join in on the conversation as long as we be respectful. And I'd like you to weigh in on this because I know a lot of you have seen it. You are speaking about it. And I welcome your feedback so that I don't feel so lonely in speaking to myself, even though I'm reading your comments. I really do appreciate it. So let's get into it right here. What is Aliano saying? Please, no COVID too. Thank you. We got orange grade agent poisoning already. Oh my goodness, you are something else. You are something else. That's a new name for him. We got orange grade agent. Good evening to you. Welcome. It's good to have you joining us. And let's just get straight into it. As I said, at any time during this discussion, you're free to weigh in on it. And but it's more information sharing that I want to share with you here. And because of its footprint and how it is started, the way it's making headlines around the world. And now we see the latest where, it is scary for some. I agree, Connie. It is and certain media outlets as well. I'm not going to say that they're creating panic by any means. With everything that the world has experienced with COVID-19 back in 2020, I think it's worth at least just discussing it, having the conversations about it. And for all of us who are traveling, we're going to be going through airports and probably taking cabs, trains, monorails, and so forth. You might as well just know about it, because for the length of time that it incubates in people based on the findings people have actually been on that cruise and they're just now showing symptoms and feeling ill. And I'll let you into that again, because we see where 2 persons right now in the United Kingdom are actually self-isolating who were actually linked to that cruise ship. And then I see other headlines as well where people were saying, oh, we were out bird watching and that sort of stuff. But the fact still remains is that 8 weeks in some cases have passed. So the incubationary period, based on my findings, is as long as 8 weeks before you can exhibit any signs. There's still lots, I'm quite sure, that will be coming out of this, but we'll keep it locked to official sources and, of course, locally as well, should and when our local authorities decide to release official press release or whatever it is about it. But it is international news. And I thought it was because of the questions and comments that we're hearing. I've heard it numerous times today about this. And, you know, you're seeing it pop up on various news sites. So again, people are saying exactly what Plastic Fantastic is saying. Oh, God, I don't think we could do a lockdown again. Exactly why I decided to talk about it. Because right now we can only go based on what official sources, WHO and all that is saying right now. Whether it's there at this point in time, no, they're not saying it, but we're just educating you about it. But exactly, Plastic Fantastic, how you're feeling is what internally people are feeling. Is this like, OMG, in the middle of the summer, we're dealing with a war, we're dealing with inflation, cost of living is through the roof, the heat is killing us, and everything else. Now we're going to deal with Hantavirus. What the heck is 2026 got packed for us? So yeah, I feel it. I understand it. And yeah, a lot of people are looking at these cruise ships as being, I had a friend who was saying, look, I am not a cruise girl. I swear they use these cruise ships as test tubes, I quote. Because look, it's deja vu all again. Some love cruise. I'm a cruise lover. Whether there's merit to that, yeah. Whether this helps that industry right now, no. When you look back to 2020, again, the cruise industry, yeah, here we go again, making headlines again in another cruise ship. Yeah, outbreak. Yes, there we go. But to each his own, some that is their favorite type of vacation. I know a number of friends that have booked cruise, have just come off of cruises, not necessarily in that region of the world, but nevertheless, it's the same industry. We're not there to put down the cruise industry. I'm not here to put down the cruise industry by any means, but the similarities are just eerie, to be honest with you. So let's get into it. What do you said? We are really in need of a blood John, not Jesus. A blood what? John? Not Jesus. I don't know what that is. What is there? I think it's probably a typo on the ano. But yeah, let's get into it. What I found, and again, based on reputable sources, is that the hantavirus, right, is a family of viruses. It's meaning it's a mix-up of a number of viruses carried around primarily by rodents, especially, and this is repeated over and over again, by mice and rats. Humans, by the way, can become infected either breathing in tiny particles from rodent urine, their droppings, meaning their feces, or even their saliva. And that's the core of this virus. No mystery, no conspiracy, based on my findings, biology, okay? Now, there are also 2 main illnesses that is caused by this hantavirus. One more in the lungs, pulmonary. And then there's one hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome, meaning it impacts the kidneys, right? And the hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, or HPS, because you're going to be hearing more of these acronyms being used unless they can get this calmed down and it's no more. Might as well you get used to these terms now. HPV is also HPS, sorry, is also found in the Americas. What we find, the hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, or HPS, is mostly found in the Americas based on my findings. And then the hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome, which is going by the acronym HFRS, that is now, my friends, usually and mostly found in Europe and Asia. What is important, though, is that both of these illnesses start off looking like, hello, a flu. You're fatigued, you just feel, ugh, you get fever, and then you get those joint and muscle aches. But depending on what strain of this virus you have gotten, symptoms can escalate like that very, very quickly, is what the findings are reporting. And what is also important to know is that this hantavirus, even though we may just be hearing about it in the Cayman Islands, now it's not new. Okay? It has been around, from what sources are reporting, for decades. And what is new is the recent outbreak on a cruise ship, which is what is making the headlines and why we are now all switched on. And this is like eerily similar to 2020 and COVID-19. But I just wanted you to know those facts so that we get the ground information of how this has started, what it's about, and where you can find what strains. Now, hello, can it mutate into something else? We're not going to speculate here. I'm just sharing with you the facts and where we are. This is something that all public health officials, WHO, PAHO, the whole bunch of them, everybody's going to be looking at this in case it has taken and morphed into something else, because normally we don't see it pass from humans to humans, but it isn't that it hasn't happened, okay? We're seeing where that is playing out right now. So at the end of the day, I just want to get into the particulars of how it spreads based on my findings. And of course, as I go through this, I thank you for your comments. 936-8255. You can WhatsApp there as well. And I'd be more than happy to take your comments or questions there as well. So Tony Pickle says, incubating from rodent droppings is such a disgusting origin story. Even COVID would be like, bro, have some dignity. You're right. Oh my gosh, that's nasty. If it is indeed that is the case, Tony, what kind of sanitation are they doing on this? If it was actually contracted on this cruise ship? Because even from what I'm understanding, the two that are right now self-quarantined, subject to more, because that is still a developing story, apparently they could link back to actually being on the same cruise ship. The thing is, with tracing, was it actually contracted on the ship, or did people bring it on with them? So it's going to be quite something to track back, because these go back as far as 8 weeks. Aliano says, the blood of Juan, my Mexican, okay, the blood of Juan, my Mexican SA, gotcha. Tony says, inhaled vintage mouse dust. Well, weren't they using this cruise ship if, let's say, it was contracted there? Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. But it would be interesting how they're aseptic and sanitizing and that sort of stuff. But we don't know. We don't want to draw any conclusion right now, but it's weird because it's all pointing back so far to this one particular vessels that even the two that are quarantining now in the UK can link back to that vessel. So this is going to be interesting. It's the virus with a blend of leptospirosis. Yep. See, and Connie is saying to Tony, yes, she agrees with you. So the number one way this hantavirus is spread is through rodent exposure. Yeah. So for all of you now who you see a rat outside and all this sort of stuff, if it's just too much of that, hello, yeah, it's nasty. You need to clean your house. You need to call the environmental health, DEH, to drop some bait and stuff, and they can see. Now, if you see one, let me digress for a second. That means there's a lot more where that one is coming from. So be vigilant. We are right now in the middle of bulk waste clean up. We're in West Bay right now. And you want to clear all of these things from around your yard. And God forbid if you see it in your house. Woo! Yeah. It's going to be like a moving. It's going to be spring cleaning on steroids. Try find them. Okay? So these are all the things that you need to be considerate of, that the number one way of this hantavirus spread is through rodent exposure. Rodent exposure. Not casual contact from what we're seeing, not passing someone in the hallway based on what we're seeing right now, not sitting next to someone on a plane, and not walking through an airport right now is what the findings are. And the virus becomes airborne when contaminated rodent droppings or urine dry out and turn into dust. So if someone breathes in that dust, they can then become infected. I can see some of you right now saying, oh, dear God, I got to go back to mass because I don't know. Yeah. Some people who are immunocompromised, who have underlying conditions, they have gotten accustomed to wearing the masks, especially when they're out, when they're traveling. I see it all the time. I don't look at them as though I scorned them. They're actually being safe because they know what they're protecting themselves from. So other routes of transmission as well is touching of contaminated surface and then touching your face. Yes. Licking your fingers. Yeah. Being bitten by an infected rodent as well, which is rare. If you bitten by a rat, something kind of wrong with that. We don't normally hear that, but I'm quite sure it is quite common in certain places, certain countries as well. I see in one image with a rat taking a bath. Now, if even that rat, and it's not AI, if that rat bathed, then that should tell you something. That doesn't make them any cleaner because they still, to us, a risk, okay? And in extremely rare cases, person-to-person transmission, but only with the Andes strain. Yeah, it's only one particular strain that they can see where it's transferable from person to person. And that last point, my friends, is why the cruise ship outbreak is making global news. And this is why we have to look at those two individuals who have self-quarantined, and I'll go into that headlines for you to let you know what is the latest on that. And they're going to have to do their testing to see which strain they have. And then, oh my God, guess what? It starts there again. Contact tracing, who could be exposed or to think of. But please, don't overthink it at this point. We're just sharing the information as it becomes available to us. And the whole idea here is about keeping us informed and up to date with the latest information in the event that anything else new develops from this, or we see where it's spreading. You can't say that you do not understand it, or just be a little bit more conscious. If you're working in an industry right now that's probably exposed to a lot of travelers or touching and that sort of stuff, here we go again. The key is to always sanitize your hand, whether or not this came into the picture, whether or not COVID-19 was there. Be conscious of surfaces. Be conscious of, good hand hygiene and that sort of stuff. And if you are immunocompromised or have underlying conditions, you definitely want to take caution, period. Pretty much at all times. So yeah, Sarah, good to have you here. That's why I hate the blowers that the gardeners use daily. Sarah? People say they're only blocking drains. but it's all sorts of stuff. Can you imagine your crops? Like you could have something and they blow it over in your yard and all that sort of stuff. And we take our little pets out for walks, or our kids are out there. These are all the things that we need to be conscious of. But you are so right. Thank you for sharing that, Sarah. Um, so yeah, you may keep your yard better than your neighbors, or you see rodents over in your neighbors. Well, hint, hint, if you see that, you have the right to report it to DEH. Where you see there's rodents in someone's property, you have the right to make a report to DEH, because then it becomes a public health hazard and a public health risk. And there are legislations in place in the Cayman Islands. There was a location here where there was a large amount of coconuts just being tossed on a tree. And you could see the rats, of course, eating the coconuts, going up and down the tree and and the fallen branches and stuff like that. And DEH had to get involved. And even though the place appeared to have not been legally occupied, I'm not saying people weren't there, legally, DEH had to move in, and they had to caution the owner of the property based on land records that were retrieved. So it's the same thing with derelict vehicles, watercrafts. You could have vegetation that is just piling up. You know, people cut off the branches and they try to get a big mound or something, and then they call for DEH to remove it. If you see all of that, that can harbor rodents. But if you see it and you see that happening in your community, in your neighborhood, you're not tattletaling. You're actually being an ambassador in keeping down an awareness of public health. It's a public health safety. And for the owners of those properties as well, you actually could be saving them, because they could be out there, the kids could be playing in the yard or something like that. And they don't even realize the amount of activity of rodents that's happening during the time when you're not seeing them and stuff. And kids are out there, you know how the kids are. There are some who still go outside, by the way, but even us, simple gardening, going outside barefooted, or you're going out with your flip-flops and you coming inside your house and you're tracking these stuff in your house. These are all reasons why you should practice good techniques. And look at all of that, Sarah, that came straight from a blower. You understand where I'm going with this? These are all the things that you should be conscious of. And why, when we say, take your shoes off at the door, don't walk through the house with your shoes and stuff like that. These are some of the reasons why we're saying it. Remember during the holidays when we had the bird flu, when we had that thing, and they were saying that if you have these birds and stuff that you notice around, especially in the affected area, your pool, your deck, your backyard, don't feed them and all that sort of stuff, and be careful of their droppings. These were some of the cautions that they were actually telling you, because you can track that stuff inside your house. So it's the same precautions that we're doing here. If you see rodents in your yard or in your neighbor's yard or in your community as a whole, and this is why we do a good job at the collection of our garbage. And we ask persons to please not store garbage. Don't store appliances and mattresses and all that sort of stuff there, because you're harboring rodents. We're seeing where this is making headlines. We don't need to create no foolishness here in the Cayman Islands, right? Of any sort. I don't care what it is, because rats are one thing. Mosquito-borne viruses is another, and that's even more deadly. And we've had our fair share here in the Caribbean, and we know that. Again, kudos to my DEH crew, kudos to my MRCU crew, and kudos to every community who is standing up and making sure you can make a difference in keeping their surroundings clean, and making that effort, because you do not know, you don't realize what you're doing when you actually make these reports once you identify hotspots for rodents and stuff like that. Dean, hi, welcome to you. Conspiracy theory 101, blame the Chinese. Hear you. I know you would come out of left field with something, you know. Connie says, Auntie, I have to put up the privacy mesh around my yard and spray down my fence and greenhouse every time the gardeners cut the neighbor's yard. I keep arguing with them. The next time I'm going to video them and post their you know what on Facebook, their Laurel on Facebook. You do it. We're going to name and shame them. Yeah. And you know what? We need to do that, period, especially if you see them blowing it into drains, because even though the forecast is for a lower amount of number of hurricanes and tropical storms this year because of the El Nino, it only takes one. And we want to make sure that our drains keep cleared and all that sort of stuff. But I suggest, good for you, Connie, video them and name and shame them if you see this is happening, period, around the island. Now, what I was telling you about the symptoms usually appearing either in a week or as long as 8 weeks. Remember with COVID, it was what, 7 days a week. Now this one looks as though it has a longer time before you can exhibit symptoms. And it ranges from 1 to 8 weeks after you've been exposed. And what you will see during that time, either 1 to 8 weeks, not days, 1 to 8 weeks. You know how much movement you and I could be doing after becoming exposed, unaware that we've been exposed. And then all of a sudden, you may even forget it. You know, you're exhibiting signs of fever, fatigue, muscle aches, dizziness, and in some cases, even nausea and vomiting. Yeah. So these are really some of the early symptoms once you've exposed that can show themselves 1 to 8 weeks. Fever, fatigue, muscle aches, headaches, dizziness, nausea, and vomiting. And then with the lung-related one, which is the HPS, the one that is found in the Americas, that's more like bronchial in your chest, anything breathing. Symptoms can progress. Oh, Lord. To coughing, shortness of breath, and chest tightness. For the HPS, lung-related illnesses, symptoms can progress to coughing, shortness of breath, and chest congestion. Whoopid cough? No. That's where my head went just now when I and it came to mind when I was preparing this too, but I don't want to mix up the two. Okay. So let me just continue. Then you got the kidney related one that is found in Asia and Europe. Okay. What you find with that is that will also include lowered blood pressure, bleeding or easily bruising. Some people may even experience back pain, understanding where the kidneys are located in the back and in the flank, and reduced urine output. So you used to pass a lot of urine normally. You know, you're hydrating yourself and you're not going, something is wrong. Now, these symptoms can actually be severe if you're not already diagnosed with renal disorder, which is why hantavirus has a high fatality rate. But again, what research I have found is that it's rare. Okay? So what we're accustomed to in our area is more the lung-related ones. And that's coughing, shortness of breath, and chest tightness. And what they have seen within Asia, Europe markets area, those countries, is that it usually hits the kidney-related illnesses. And then that impacts your blood pressure, bleeding, you'll see increased bleeding or bruises, back pain, and reduced urine output. Yes. So at the end of the day, it is rare to see those, but nevertheless, we can't take our eyes off of the fact that we have had persons right now reported as dying from what is suspected being exposed to this hantavirus. Okay, this is not me. This is what's in the public's domain. Connie says, I'm going to start reporting people and be prepared to have some enemies. Well, it's nothing wrong with just doing the right thing. If you have repeatedly told them not to do it and they continue to do it, sometimes the only how they actually respond is when they name and shame. I would say just do it one more time. And if they continue to do it, if your cameras pick them up, then definitely do what you got to do. At least they can't say that they weren't warned. Yeah. Denver, how are you? We missed you yesterday. You didn't comment. What's up? You good? Mm-hmm. You have them all around you. What we got all around us? What we got all around us, Denver? Now, what we're seeing right now in this is that has made this huge headlines is that this luxury ship, even though it's not on our side of the world, we have people that are doing tours and cruise. We got our one thing with us, we're not static. People travel, people go all around the world. Even our very own locals, Caribbean people now are extending their wings and going beyond Tampa, going beyond Florida, and they're going over to the other side of the world. So we're no longer just within our region. But not only that, people are coming here from all over the world as well. And this is why you can't just look at it as an isolated case of this situation being on this cruise ship. And we are not, at all to be concerned. And that is why we need to just be, at the end of the day, cognizant of everything that is happening. But you know what? Before going into the details of that and the latest news that I have breaking, that I read at the beginning for those of you just joining us, let's hear and do a gentle reminder about the ESO report and other reminders of what's happening this week. Please stay with me. We'll be right back.
The Economics and Statistics Office, ESO, is currently conducting the annual business surveys until June 12. The surveys collect information to answer questions like, how did the economy perform in 2025? In 2025, how much did foreign companies invest in the Cayman Islands? The surveys include all relevant entities that produce goods and services in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the ESO. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business. For assistance in filling out the forms or for more information, visit eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600.
Welcome back. Yeah, I got you. Thank you for that clarification, Denver. Try not to miss anything. Sometimes I don't understand it, but I know what it's like, especially if you're doing it from your phone and all that sort of stuff. It happens. But good to have you join us this evening, and welcome one and all, even for all of you who are joining us after the fact, as we continue to put the spotlight on the Hantavirus and just being informative, educating, breaking it down in layman's terms. Yeah. Yeah, my gosh. Oh, hush. I got my WhatsApper. Gotta love it. Gotta pay the bills, girl. Gotta pay the bills. Okay. My quota is done, so don't worry about it. OMG. Well, I'm hoping that people actually participate, and then it'll end. So there you go. Welcome, one and all, even those late comers, even the late comers. Oh my God, not really. I'm just doing my job, to be honest. Oh my goodness, you guys are something else. Yeah, let's continue the conversation. But again, the phone lines are wide open. 345-936-8255 to weigh in on this conversation. And or you may want to stick it into the talk about what's happening into the whole month celebrations that are going on. By all means, we have the bandwidth here this evening. I'm willing to accommodate you, but just keep it respectful, as that's all I ask of you, please, for all of you. Again, 345-936-8255. I'm going to get some instructions as to how to get the number running across the screen again. I just can't find it, and I don't like to do these things live, but I'll experiment with it after I come off the live here this evening. Yes, we noticed back. Now, let's getting back on topic and keeping the focus there on the Hantavirus. Back in late April 2026, and I can't believe I'm actually saying that because now we're in May already. We have seen where reports came out that this luxury ship called the MV Hondius reported a cluster of passengers with severe respiratory symptoms. Very interesting, isn't it? Now, what is being reported and is in public domain is that several were evacuated to hospitals in South Africa, Spain, and the Netherlands. And once they did some laboratory tests, the testing confirmed the presence of this Andes strain of hantavirus. Now, my friends, that strain, that's the only strain known to spread from person to person. And that's the one that was found. And even then, only through very close, prolonged contact. So you can understand why this could be a big thing on a cruise ship based on the images that are in public domain and in circulation. It's really not a huge ship at all. It's one of those little boutique style boats that you can see where you have a more personal interaction. Personally, yeah, it's putting it to a different level. But yeah, this is what we're seeing right now, the size of the cruise ship that is in wide circulation. So what international health agencies now are confirming is that there were 7 or 8 cases total at the time, with 3 deaths that were reported of them knowing. And WHO is conducting contact tracing. Sounds eerily familiar, doesn't it? Yes. So WHO is right now conducting contact tracing, and the outbreak, for what they're saying now, is contained to the ship. But we know just before coming live, there was some news out of the UK, and I'll share with you with that. And the global risk at this time remains low. Now, what all of the data is showing is that this is one of the few documented times, operative word is documented times, that human to human transmission has actually occurred. And that is why it is getting the attention and making headlines the way it's actually making it. But it doesn't, what the officials are saying, it does not behave like COVID-19. And they're also saying that it does not spread easily. No. So because of its time of incubation period, right? 1 to 8 weeks. To say it is done, I think would be something premature at this stage, seeing it was just highlighted and the deaths that have been reported. And they're seeing that right now and just linking it to this cruise ship. And we don't know with the movement of people after those persons were confirmed as to the type strain that they have, which is why contact tracing and people being honest about their movements is going to be key for actually suppression and for actually dealing with it. The key thing that keeps repeating is how rare it is. But yet, the authorities are urging caution and early medical attention for everyone who's experiencing symptoms following any recent travel connected to this specific vessel. Yeah, because like I said, just before coming live, literally as we were coming live, we saw where there was this thing with these 2 individuals in the United Kingdom who are now self-isolating after possible exposure. And the update for that is that, this is just developing as we went live. And according to the reports, they made the decision, these two individuals, seeing the news, they made the decision to self-isolate. And because they had connections that goes back to the same cruise ship. Now, please note that even though these two individuals have made the decision to self-isolate, these are not confirmed cases at the time of me making this report. So this is a developing story. I'm going to make it clear. This is developing. It's constantly evolving as information continues to come in, and we will continue to follow it here. And I'm quite sure that our local officials are on it as well, based on the relationships that they have with WHO, with PAHO, and I'm quite sure it will be no different from our brothers and sisters in the region. Because, like I said, it is carnival season. We got people coming in for different concerts. We got people coming in from cruise ship. We got people coming in from all over the world. We ourselves, as we prepare for the summer holidays, are making travel plans. I don't know how much of you still use timeshares and all that sort of stuff. These are all of the things that we need to be cognizant of. How much do those cruises? Like I said, I enjoy cruises. But yeah, we just want to bring an awareness to this because it is real. And I just wanted to give you the bare facts based on the information that is already out there, but coming from trusted sources. CDC, WHO, me putting this together, breaking it down in layman's terms, and to let you know that even here, we may not be exposed to this particular virus as such, but we're not immune from getting sick if we live in an area or in a surrounding that there's a lot of rodents. And this is why we need to participate, clearing out our yards, take advantage of the DEH bulk waste cleanup, and try to rid yourself from all of these unnecessary garbage and stuff that can also hold water for mosquito-borne viruses and all that sort of stuff. So we're dealing with the whole geopolitics thing and the raise and drop of crude oil, which is almost like a merry-go-round. I wouldn't even know a merry-go-round, just keeps going around like a roller coaster ride. But for everything else that's happening around the world, cost of living, just trying to navigate life. Here we are talking about another virus that has the similarities of something that we dread so much of, that reminds us very much like COVID. But based on the information right now that's coming out from official sources, it does not behave like that because this one is contracted based on rodents. And there's a different strain that is in circulation, and the authorities are going to actually be doing what they have to do. So, yes, the two that is in the UK are not confirmed cases. We know our students are coming back as well. And we want to make sure that, I know a lot of you over there in the UK listen to me. And we have a group over here that's always tuned in. If you didn't know about this, the details exactly, and I stand to be corrected unless that was released to exactly what area these two people have decided to quarantine. I was not privy to that at the time of reporting this, but they are not confirmed cases, but they do link back to this particular vessel. And they are right now being monitored purely as precaution. And the UK health official says that the risk to the general public at this time remains low. There is no evidence of onward spread, and both individuals, I repeat, are isolating at their home. Now, this is part of routine follow-up that we're seeing international health agencies are carrying out whenever there is known exposure to the Andes strain. So this is something at the end of the day that we're going to be monitoring closely, And I'm quite sure all of those persons over there in the United Kingdom will also be looking at this as well, because it's also about monitoring, caution. These are key things. It's a monitoring phase, cautioning persons, and their isolation is just precautionary measures. And at this time, it is a low risk to the public. So Connie is saying, and after how they lied about COVID, we should believe them again. Bunch of BBC liars. Guys, excuse my French. I know, Connie, I know. There's a lot of people, trust me right now, that are like, oh my gosh. I know she's just trying to be diplomatic, but here we go again. We're going to pray for this one, that this is not a reality. Fernandez says, Almighty Father, bless all. Yeah, I know. Femino Fernandez. Cause let it out. you like one of them old austerizer blender, Aliano. What wrong with you? Aliano says, we need to see less fair and more strategic operation in handling this mess. COVID was the test. Everybody buckle up. Now, Aliano, this is just information sharing. At this time, I agree and I understand that there's going to be mixed emotions and there's things are eerily similar. But based on what information is out there, this one is limited to rodents. Yes, the strain right now that is in circulation is the Andes strain, but I'm quite sure that our officials are definitely trying to do what they can do to make sure that they're on top of it. Now, how quickly the information will come out to calm your fears of, God forbid, if this was to repeat again, what measures do we have in place? I know one thing. The team that I worked with back in 2001, they had good exercise. Now, even though the composition of people are different, it was the same people that were working there and they helped us navigate and we opened safely. And we're not even going there, Aliano. But what I'm saying is the mere fact that we had a dry run on this. And who watched The Simpsons? OMG, this is weird. Simpsons kind of predicted some foolishness like this, but it was more set in a lab again. OMG. And I can't remember what episode it was. It was an old one. But here we go again with these guys predicting some of these things. Oh, gosh. But yeah. And there were some very high pharma companies as well that says that there could be another pandemic of some sort. We're not going to call that into existence. We're going to educate ourselves. We're going to approach this as calmly as possible, as informed as we can, based on what information is in the public's domain from sources that are labeled trusted sources. And then we'll do our own precautions. So, of course, we have to wait from our local leaders, officials, to actually address the public. But this is going around like wildfire. Why not address it here? And it ties in quite nicely with the fact that we're doing bulk waste cleanup, even though it's not this virus. It still boils down to how it's contracted by rodents. And this is why we have a lot of Cayman pride. And this is why we constantly hammer home keeping your surroundings clean. This is why we constantly, as Caymanians, hammer home if you're coming from a culture, a country, an environment where the behavior differs from what you see here, where cleanliness is concerned, leave it at the airport and adapt to our surroundings, because we put a lot of money, we put a lot of emphasis. It can impact our tourism product, but more so the public health risk of living in unsanitary surroundings. Hantavirus, without this virus or not, you cannot say that we are not pride. We're not looked at as a jurisdiction. And one of the first things that comes out of people's mouths when they visit our country and they come back is how clean, how pristine we are. But we are losing handle on it. We are losing a grip on it. And we need everybody to be a part of this. And if this is a silver lining into it as to why it drives home the importance of keeping your surroundings clean, why it drives home the importance of making sure that DEH has adequate grab trucks, garbage trucks, that certain areas we increase where there's dense population, where there's lots of people living, maybe consider funding them enough so that they could do twice a week pickups instead of once a week. This hammers that home because we do admit that there are certain parts of our country right now where we have a lot more people, therefore producing a lot more garbage, and that more frequent collections, not necessarily island-wide, but in more those densely populated areas, that they are adequately funded, they're adequately equipped, and the ladies and gentlemen that are working out there collecting our garbage is given the right equipment so that they can safely collect our household waste. This is something Cayman is known for. And if it takes international news like this to actually say, look, we have been sounding this alarm. Stop illegal dumping. Clean up around your surroundings. Let's fund DEH so that they can have the right equipment. They can definitely get the increased pickups in certain areas. Let's educate the public on how to properly dispose of their garbage. And yes, we have how much? 130 odd people from all different countries where some are just accustomed to throwing it out their window, no proper sewage, just throwing it off a hill. And if they don't see it, it doesn't bother them. We don't have that here. No, that's not how we deal with garbage. We don't have gullies that you throw it in, and then when a hurricane comes in, you're all flooded out because you've thrown all sorts of crap into your national runoff. There's a word I'm going to, stormwater drainage system. Yeah, we don't have that here. We even did a pilot program giving you all garbage receptacles. And I so pray to God that this is extended island-wide so that everybody can be given the perfect or the best garbage receptacles, that we send a strong message as to how our cleanliness and what it means to our country. And if you come from a country where your culture has you behaving differently, I would strongly implore that you take close observations as to how we live in the Western Hemisphere. What is our norm? Because you have chosen to be here, adapt to our cultures, our standards, and just understand the importance of public health. Yeah, this is by no means getting after any specific nationality, but we do understand public health and risks based on certain cultures, certain behaviors, certain countries and what they're accustomed to. This is like a culture shock to them, but yet what is coded in them, even though they're out of that environment, their behaviors and practices continue to be the same, even when around them, it's totally different. I'm just saying, you come to Rome, do what the Romans do. You love our pristine beaches, our roadsides, and all this sort of stuff. And I am not just blaming those who are visitors here. I'm speaking to even my locals. Yeah, I'm speaking to everyone. This is not nationality shaming in any way, shape, or form. There are some who convert their places and they've created apartments, aka tenement yards. You can do a better job. I see right here now, and I could go to one particular one, and just for the record, I have absolutely no political aspirations, but I live in Prospect. And I know one particular landlord off Orange Drive. They can do a much better job with that garbage enclosure. I managed to drive through there the other day and I was appalled at what I saw. And I personally went and I spoke to them. I have no political aspiration, but I live here. And I will go and I will speak to them and say, look, not because I'm no longer the representative, I expect you to still maintain the standards that we're accustomed to, because I notice rodents around there. So I'm just going to make it clear what I used to do when I had the job. Hello, caller. You're live on Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind?
Good evening, Miss Sabrina and Kim-Ann.
Hi.
Trust everyone is well. What a lovely topic.
Yeah, but we can link it to here. But I just wanted to share the important.
Oh no, I'm going to link it to here.
Mm-hmm.
We might not have Hantavirus, or so we don't know anyhow. Let's hope we don't. Remember some months ago when what happened to me with my former landlady, and how I said the rats and the mice were in the house, on the counters and all of that. Remember?
Yeah. You shared that. Oh,
and I
yeah.
thought, and you understand my concern now of why people should not have to live like that. Let me just say this: the Cayman Islands. Let's just put Grand Cayman in context. There are a lot of slum landlords who have converted places or who rent to people and who don't give a darn. They have no trash receptacles, or if they do, they are minimum. And the garbage, it piles up. Every time I take a walk to exercise in the day, every day God gives me breath, I look around and I see garbage protruding out of bags, chickens and hens and roosters eating everything, digging up on top of your garbage. And then here comes down on Northwest Point Road about 4 or 5 buses full of who? Visitors off of the cruise ship. And then you have the regular visitors here. I don't care. I'm gonna say this straight and as nice as possible as I can to this government, because I make it clear I didn't vote because I have to see change first. And the way in which I have seen the last few incidents happen in this country, with this one with the police of the person that is now gone from this country, security at the airport or baggage handlers or whoever they were. The government, what did they issue? Did they issue some kind of voice note? I'm sorry, the Home Affairs Minister, he needs to do better. I don't sugarcoat things for people. I am going to sugarcoat this to this government as a voter that did not vote because I was disgusted at what I saw happening in this country. And let me say this government, if it has, I hope the ears of every one of them are listening. If this government in its current form remains in the current state it is, and if every representative runs for election again, there will be many shocks to a lot of them, from voters not only that did not vote, and that would probably vote this time just to vote you out, and by voters that did vote this last election, gone last year. If they do not step up to the plate, we have had a few incidents. They should have come out and assured the public with a press conference to assure us that it is safe to travel through the airport and nobody is going to steal our belongings, go in or come in. Because I am sorry, I keep saying the face of tourism in this country should rest on the Caymanians. See why a company, whether Caymanian or not, cannot employ Caymanians in it as baggage handlers and as security at the airport. Either government does away with that contract and many others and gets in the business of handling security at all of government-owned business institutions, whether it be leased or owned by government. And that includes our airport and our port. That is the face of Cayman first for tourism. But getting back to this nastiness, this government needs to address it. This government needs to do a better job of holding press briefings when it comes to critical, important issues. I am one voter that is sick and tired of voice notes from ministers. Come to the people. You came to us a year ago. You are where you are because of the people who put you where you are. You have a responsibility to the voters that voted and to the ones that didn't, even though the opposition sits as our voices, loud and clear, I might say also. But to see a government functioning where something as important as this outbreak in the BRAC, and you don't even have, where's the health minister? Did she come on any program to say what's going on? Did they hold any press briefing? The garbage in this country, the state of this country, with the mess and the garbage that is left unattended for a whole week on end, for our visitors to drive through our islands and to look at it and go, my God, don't you people have proper garbage collection here? I see it all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
The health minister has to do better. The government has to do better. If a case breaks out here where some disease breaks out and it is spread from animal to human contact, we are all going to die because we have a serious health issue that exists, and the head of the DEH, for whatever reason, has canceled the cull of the feral chickens, the feral roosters, hens, and the feral roosters. They need to come to the public and get the program going. Because if they would like another COVID where we get shut down, they would understand what it means, because nobody's going to come to a country where disease is breaking out. And the garbage issue in this country, every household has got to learn to stop creating extra waste that is not needed. It falls on every one of us. And it falls on the government to address the trash problem ASAP. I am sick and tired of hearing of ministers traveling. Your home is Cayman. You address your issues here first before you jump on an airplane at the cost of the voters that voted and did not vote. We have a serious health issue. It is the Mount Trashmore garbage dump. And we have a serious issue with trash throughout our islands and properties. And DEH heads must do better to start ticketing and fining persons. We have to change the laws in this country. This place looks like a slum when you take a walk in the morning, afternoon, or evening. Just look at the roadways. I can send you pictures. It is a disgusting sight to see. One of the things that I loved about Canada when I visited some years ago, I didn't see no trash. Yes, there's homeless people, they're everywhere, but there wasn't any trash. It was clean. You know, in Naples, Florida, where I've visited a lot of times, over the years, they now have trash cans that are running solar on all of their beach access mainways with their walkways and everything. I mean, we have the sun here. Get someone put out, hire some unemployed Caymanians that will go out and work for a decent wage, and stop letting this island and the other two islands look like a Mount Trashmore to tourists or visitors and those that live here. And everyone that lives here has to do a better job.
Mm-hmm.
Cayman like a slum. Go down in the areas. Go down in Windsor Park after 4 days and see the garbage. It is disgusting to see.
Which is why I alluded to certain areas that are densely populated that persons should actually that they need to be given adequate funding for DEH to consider doing multiple pickups. I'm going to merge another call, so I'm just going to put you on hold for a second. But yeah, that is something that could be considered. Just hold on for me, caller. That could be something that is considered as well, where they do multiple pickups in certain days. So this is something that has to be funded, to be honest with you. And hello, caller. I think I lost one of them. Hello? 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 Sorry. Let me go back. Hello? Hello, caller? Oh, Lord. There we go. Let me just call that person back. But the caller...
You've reached chat.
Oh.
Please leave me a message and I'll return your call.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Please leave your message after the beep.
Caller, you can call me back, please. Sorry. There we go. Let's do this one. Let's call back this person. Yeah, so if we can find out where that is. Hello, caller, you're live. Okay. Both callers, whichever one calls back, we'll have to do it. Please remember that if you're calling from WhatsApp, I cannot merge it with a straight call. And likewise, if you're calling on WhatsApp, sometimes it doesn't tell me exactly which one is coming in. So yes, there we go. Yes, caller, you're live.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I assume we can say flow issues again.
Yeah, well, I don't know what happened.
New?
You just couldn't merge for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it really is disgusting to see garbage blowing all over the place in the place that you have to live.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, people, homeowners and renters have to do a better job.
Hello?
And, you know, everyone has to do a better job. And I've heard about this, say they're going to change where the laws, the garbage laws, whatever they are, the DH, to have all of these powers.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we waiting on? I mean, how long does it take? Hello? Get it done and start ticketing people. Clean this country up.
I stand to be corrected, but I think there was some legislation. It's either out for public consultation now, or it was passed in the last sitting, where DEH officers now has more powers in the law. Now it's either already passed through. So there shouldn't be any issues. And some of the comment, let me, because it aligns with what you're saying, is only nasty people keep garbage in their yard. I wish I was an inspector. Government would be rich because I would impose the heaviest fine on them. That's, of course, following the whole procedure. And then the other commenter says, Connie also said, Auntie, government alone can't do it. Look at how many cars are on the road. People who drive can take their garbage with them and put it in a dumpster. I don't even understand why they would have to take their garbage from their home if collections are being done at pretty much island wide. I don't understand why. There are some persons I know for a fact raised up on Elgin Avenue, straight up, right there by the Latter-day Saints Church. My grandfather, may his soul rest in peace, was so angry. He would take out the trash from my grandmother's, walk it out to the road where that little tree is right now by the Latter-day Saints Church. And there was a receptacle there. But he would only take the household waste in proper garbage bags the eve of garbage collections. Of course, we got more populated, and then it became a dump. People started throwing loose items in there, and he would find himself constantly cleaning it out. For years, government has not picked up any trash from Sims Lane because he, in his anger one day, said how people can be so nasty. He removed the receptacle, and my family now disposes of their own. They dispose of their own trash. So in that case, I can understand it because that house is in the heart of Georgetown. You don't have much choices, right? And even if we were to put back the receptacle there or get a wheeler bin program, which that fell outside the thing, they would be subjected to dragging it out there the day before and pulling it back the night after. And you know how much traffic passed between Latter-day Saints Church and Piccadilly Building? God, they would be doing the garbage collection themselves
every day.
Yeah.
It's either because no one gets charged for garbage. You remember when government used to charge for garbage pickup? Maybe they should go back to that and frighten a few people, and maybe these landowners and everybody in this country will wake up once they have to pay $100 or $150 for trash pickup a year or every 6 months. Something has to be done. We can't just sit down and wait for some disease to break out here, because if it does, we are in a mess. We rely on the outside world. Nobody going to come here if we got disease. The medication would have to come in and the food would have to come in, and who would have to go get it off the ship? The reality is it could happen. COVID happened. Did we realize or had anything that COVID was going to be what it was? No. So that happened because of the world traveled and we got infected. What you think happened? There's this outbreak of gastroenteritis in the Bry. And if it hadn't been for me going to the newspaper, the Compass, I would never have known. Because I didn't hear nothing on the news. So where's the health minister about that? Silent. Where's the health minister on why we waiting so long to get a proper garbage system in place? Just come out and tell people right now, we're working on whatever we're working on, the laws or whatever, and you have to now put your garbage in proper garbage bags. Just say it. Come out and say it.
Well,
the people.
The public health and anything like that from a public health perspective, in consultation and in collaboration with the CMO and public health officials, I agree with you that can be done. So I don't know. Maybe it was not a cause for scare or alarm. I don't know.
Okay,
like I said at the beginning, I'm not speaking on behalf of the government or any of them.
No,
but
I'm not either.
You are actually sound with what you're saying because of the sheer size and how a close-knit of a jurisdiction that we are. And you are you don't want the void of nothing being said from our officials being filled by panic and fear and misinformation, which is why I've taken
that apparently.
Which is why I've taken upon myself, based on the feedback that I've had in person and otherwise, and just listening, to bring this to the public's attention in layman's terms as best as I can.
Yeah, we got to. They have to come out. I see Ms. Connie saying the chickens, the hens, and the roosters are a nuisance. Yes, they're a nuisance. We all know that. Instead of waiting to do their cull, I don't know why they canceled it. Maybe they don't think it's an important thing. People would like to be able to go out in their properties and not sit under their trees. Some of our elder folks still love to go sit under their trees in the morning. They don't want poop coming down on them. They don't want to see chickens running around digging up everything. People are trying to grow in their properties, in their yards, wherever the pots are in the ground. They are a nuisance, and they are a health threat to us humans. I don't care who likes it. I had chickens, hens, and roosters when I was growing up in the Brides. They were used to eat, slaughter, to feed a family, and the eggs were used for food.
But they were contained.
Ours didn't run around. This only happened after Hurricane Ivan because people didn't have no interest in chickens, hens, and roosters. Their roosters were gone, the houses were gone. They needed to get back to some normality in life. And this is a 20-something-year-old problem that needs to be addressed.
I remember.
So to the government, please address it. Please, to the health minister and the rest of you in the government, if it takes for the backbench opposition to take up all of this and carry it forward, one on open and a mouth to these representatives in the government and say something to them that it needs to be taken care of. The chickens are a nuisance.
You remember
and
when
the garbage is a nuisance.
Remember when this started with the culling of the cats, the feral cats?
Yeah, and we were
the
all up in
feeding of the
arms.
chickens, and then there was a fine that was during my time that was put forward by the then Minister of Sustainability, the Honorable Wayne Panton. And what was not said was not left, because it was a joke. It was scoffed at, we're laughed at. And here you are right now with this that is happening. It's not that it wasn't there, but I don't know what became of that. But we have legislation, we have fines as well. And the understanding as to why you don't feed feral cats, why you don't feed these chickens is now bearing fruit.
Yeah.
Why you don't do it, because there is a risk. And whether or
you
not
don't know what they are carrying as a disease.
Whether or not people were misinformed or they didn't understand it, or we did a horrible job at the PR in educating the risks.
But we have a problem with that.
Exactly. It was taken out of context. That you feed the cat, I'm going to get charged, what, 50,000, 5,000, whatever it was, the fee was, I stand to be corrected. That was all people were looking at, and not the public health risk. And how some of these feral animals actually suffer because they're out in the wild.
Yeah.
So again, maybe this is the silver lining in that conversation coming up, because I don't think it would be reinventing any wheel. The laws are in place. You just need to properly educate the public, highlight the public health risks, and show what those risks are. But it's there. It's there.
Yeah.
Speak to a farmer. Speak to a backyard farmer who's got pumpkin slipping, and ask them what they're going through. I bet you they'll say they'll sing a different tune.
And then we go to the farmer's market and we're complaining prices are high. Hello, they got paid for this, they got paid for that, and fight chickens, hens, and roosters. Hello. You should be grateful that they're out there tilling the soil, that we can get it in some shape or form. But you see, Cayman has become, and I say it too often, too materialized, don't want to save something for the next day. It is only what you can get for now. And we see the situation we are in. I keep going back to the human aspect of it. We are overpopulated on this island. It is sad to see.
And a lot of time misinformed and running with the first thing that you hear and not fact checking.
And we had talked about this issue for so long, about wanting to grow us to 100,000. And here we are. And look at the issues we are now facing. The traffic, this overcrowding in our schools, the lack of just some kind of decent housing for the everyday Caymanian that would like to enjoy a little bit of what and where they live, that cannot do it. It's not the Caymanians buying up the home, it's the foreigners.
But apparently, who's selling them?
Caymanians selling them too.
Okay, so you can't blame the people.
Some of them are. And then we have those that have held on to their pieces of beach land. Keep holding on to it, because it could be yours, hopefully, for a long time. But we seem to think that going to the supermarket, every time we go, we must keep buying and buying and buying and buying. You buy what you need. Do not.
Caller, we got another caller calling back. If you could just wrap up so I can get that other call.
Yeah. So we have to get to a better place in this country about our trash and about the health risks and on everything. And we need to realize that every one of us has to be held responsible for that Mount Trashmore that who has lived here throughout the years. We are all responsible. We all have to learn to try to keep Cayman clean. Put your trash in proper garbage bags. Do not wait for a government to tell you. buy proper receptacles for the amount of apartments you are renting or for your individual owned properties. And learn to respect where you live and respect others and their surroundings. And if you see trash, if you see someone trashing any roadway or anywhere, video it and send it to the DEA.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Keep it, man, clean. Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right. Likewise. Caller, you can call back, please. I tried calling you, but you didn't. There we go. Good evening, caller. You're live.
Yes, ma'am. I said, why can't they call the chickens like how they call the iguanas? Because I agree with Connor. They are nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
They are nuisance. And I went on already and said that why, how they call iguanas, why they don't call chickens? Because you can't go up to make cold with the chickens. I went up there one time. We went up there to bed. And I left my towel on a tree. You know, like I didn't want to put it on the ground. I left it on the trunk of the tree. I went on with this already, I think, on Sandra. And when I come back, you know, and that was broad day, because the normal routes in the day is night time. They go in. The tourists had their towels spread out. They were up there and stuff. They went and pooped all over the tourist towel. Some went the woman sit on it. Somebody tell her. And then when I pick my towel up, now I come up, because I was helping my friend learn her little girl to swim. I come grab the towel now. Because salt water burned my face, and we had water in a fresh water in a gallon bottle, and I told her water over my face now, and she hollered, Thelma, look quick. She said, poop. And I nearly wiped my face with that. I believe I got it. And when I went chasing them with rock and things, because if I get that on my face, I would chop my whole face off. I said, oh no, I hate that. And I agree. They used to be up in my garbage, digging it out, have it all over, and then the stuff all over the ground, and then when the garbage men come, then the bags tear up, and I buy good bags. I buy them big old bags from Foster that cost maybe nearly $30-something or $40-something, them big, the one-liners for the drum that is heavy do the bag. So I don't put my garbage in those little big bags. They got in, and they pick, I even put cover on my garbage, and then when the garbage men come, everything dropped out when they lift it up. What in our travel out. And they're not garbage men, they got nothing. I see the ones in Tampa, I had to say that one day when they come there to get garbage by us, but the other neighbor garbage I dropped, and I see the man running down the road chasing the paper and thing. I say, well, see, I didn't know they would do that. I hope the man, garbage men do that. But yes, they are nuisance. And then I called the agriculture one day because I don't have men, I can tell the truth. But how I get to it, man, what man, I don't care if they can't do me nothing for it because I complain, you know, but I poison them. I get rid of nearly everything. But since I went away now, I come back and I see about like 6 hens and 2 roosters up and hanging and getting on my nerves again. But what happened? I can't go out in the day when they're out there because it's too hot. And then in the night, you know, they goes and roost. And then we have whistling ducks up in here and a goatees, and I afraid they go and eat rice out there. Somebody tell me that the ducks will eat it, but the rabbit never eat it. I say, yeah, but I don't want to kill them either. So that's why I get rid of what I have out here. But I agree, they are terrible. They need to do something with them. And then this thing start the place so bad. Because I tell you, they are terrible. They are new something. I don't know why I do nothing with them. And then I called agriculture a couple of days ago to find out that they still have them traps that they used to bring. And the man tell me no, that they don't do that no more. But something he said about you could buy. I said, well, I don't want to buy no trap because there's just a few out here. So I don't know what to do. But government needs to really do something with them. I agree. They are terrible.
Well, thank you.
I said, I hope you get that bad that I got to eat either one. Like I said, years ago, we had chickens, but we had a roost, and we had to put away kind of thing. And they did just be roaming around, eating all kind of stuff. We ate what we fed them with, the feed, and that's why I don't eat no local eggs or nothing. Who? Not me. And somebody said, well, why you know what? Foreign money, that's what they say. Why I do see, you have to eat, I do see the foreign ones, but I see these wrong here, so I'm not eating none.
Thank you, my love. Thank you for that feedback.
I try to still start again because I'm not at that no family in Florida. Is that angel around us? My cousin died today. He had a massive heart attack and all were breathing with him from last week, Thursday. And I get it all. We're breeding for him with a machine, but he died today, 70 years old. My God, I can't believe it.
Oh, wow.
Last time I seen him, he was a half a person. I was telling my cousin talking to us, but at least he made what the Lord promised him. 3 scores and 10. But the 18th of January, he was 70 because he keeps birthday the day before my father. My father would have been the 19th. But at least he months over. But that's how it go. Poor thing, he couldn't make it. Everything was dying on him. Just the machines would keep, because he had a massive heart attack. Oh, my God.
Thoughts and prayers are with you. All right.
Yes, Mom.
All
Every
right.
day, some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep
Okay,
the
bye.
faith, Michelle. Thank you for your contribution. There we go. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's hope that they're hearing this. And even though this hantavirus is spread by rodents, we realize that we do have our own set of risks here as well. And people are saying, even though it's eerily similar to what we're feeling and what we have already experienced back in 2019, 2020 with COVID-19, it is not like COVID-19. The short answer to that is no, it's not like, because COVID-19, the difference is that spread through air very easily. And what we're seeing with this hantavirus does not. It is based on rodent exposure, which is why the conversation ensued about the rats and cleaning up around your garbage, and even, trimmings and hedging, storing up all of these coconuts and bottles and appliances and all that sort of stuff. They are a magnet for rodents. And also we can see where this is also very close contact to rodents, prolonged contact with anyone infected with the Andes strain, okay? And that's the one that we're seeing looks as though now, based on what the officials are saying, is on this particular cruise ship. So WHO has been clear about it, that this is not like COVID. It is not. It is not COVID. And from the whole international and a global context of things, right now, what we're seeing, this has existed in many parts of the world before. We see where it has showed up in North and South America. That is the HPS version of it, the nausea, the vomiting, and all of that sort of stuff. And we got some stats as well to show you where it's there, where we can have those cases showing up. And what we're seeing in Europe and Asia is 150,000 to 200,000, yes, of hospitalizations annually in Europe and Asia for this very same exposure. Now that is something when you think about it, that is something. What we're seeing right now in Canada, it is rare, but it's present. It has been reported even in Canada before. We've seen where as far back as Argentina, Taiwan, and others, they had outbreaks as well reported back in 2026 again. But what I need to make clear is that, yes, it is not new. Right now, we're seeing that it is not, based on the latest information coming out, is that it's not spreading globally and that it's not behaving like the pandemic virus of 2020. Now, we see where at the end of the day, we have to be our neighbors' keepers. We have to do our best when it comes to keeping our surroundings clean. And yes, I agree, government alone cannot do it. We have to take responsibility for ourselves. We have to take responsibilities of ourselves and just try to look at your surroundings. Do your best and look at your surroundings and try to mimic. Everybody wants to live in a clean area, for sure. I see where we've got privately an image was shown shared with us, where there's overgrown hedging right now that's just coming out into the road. And this is where personal responsibility comes in. And we're hoping that people can understand, first of all, the dangers, because this hedging right now is in the street, is in the road. And even though it's not garbage, it just hammers home the point that much more of what we're actually trying to cover here. I hope this is not the same image yet too. So this is one image of where you have the setbacks And you see where right now in the road, there's a hedging right now that is coming out into the road. That's encroaching on the main road. That is an encroachment. That is illegal. And here we go, just for context, how far it is from the boundary line of this particular property. And yeah, these are the things that we're talking about, even though I have witnessed rodents going in there, even these high palm trees where the palm limbs drop down, but they don't drop off. You can see, I've seen rodents, I've witnessed rodents actually sheltering in there. These are some of the things that we actually need to be talking about. And these are reports that DOE, DEH, and them need to be aware of, because this is illegal, guys. This is illegal. And right now, I'm quite sure for anyone who recognizes this area, I won't name and shame yet. This is a warning, because more of these will be coming in, and we will be doing what we have to do to bring an awareness and give you an opportunity to do this, because this, my friends, is illegal. The image that I'm having here right now is illegal. So I'm going to save this, and we're going to do what we're going to do to give you a little warning that this needs to be cut back. It needs to be cut back. It's in the road, and it is a hazard. It's way past your setback, way past. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for your contribution. I want to thank you for your calls. I want to thank you for your feedback. I hope that this was, again, an enlightening, informative episode of Sabrina Speaks that puts the spotlight on exactly what this is. It's coming from an informed perspective, and that we can just navigate this together. Please be informed. Go and research stuff. Make sure you only trust trusted sources before just flying off. And I'm hoping that everything that has been imparted and share here this evening, that those who have the opportunity to correct it, to make amends in the best interest and the safety of all, that they would heed the call and actually act on it. It has been my pleasure. Please do have a good evening. Love you lots. God bless. See you tomorrow.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, K-Man, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.